And we are live coming to you from the dirty South, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I got
In the
my man.
United States of America.
That's right. And tonight we're joined with our friend from the North, Joe, Dr. Exclusive. I won't be getting that correct tonight. Um, and Mike, of course, up in windy Philly, which we had that win earlier today. Uh, of course, I already had a joke on Joe. If you didn't know, USA beat Canada yesterday 3-1. But man, what I was going to ask you, and I was like, we'll just talk about it when we get on there. What was that fight all about when they dropped the puck? Was that something they just did to get excited, or
Yeah, it's just
they had tension between them during the season too? But
no, it's more just the rivalry.
Okay,
they haven't played internationally like this in quite a few years, so they both wanted to, set the tempo and get the other team.
Yeah, well, it did, toes. And what a star! If you liked hockey, I really wanted to watch, but I had to get up early this morning. But man, I should have stayed up. It's just stars, and really, it's a really cool thing they're doing to promote international hockey. It's enjoyable. Battery says by 3-1. Did you mean the fights in the first 9 seconds? Yeah, crazy night. I'm sure their teams was probably not happy. They were throwing punches at each other and getting that physical in a supposed to be just a round robin friendlies basically for the All-Star break.
Yeah, pretty much.
The fights were the artifact of the booze during the anthem. Okay. So, interesting. And of course, Joe is my guy for hockey. When I have questions, I text him, and then if he doesn't off chance, I test Eric. We like to keep him on the back burner. But how you been doing, Joe? We haven't seen you in a while. I know you're always in the chat. We'll talk. He gives me good. He's always looking out for the international cards for me, which I really like. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. I'm still hobbying.
Right, and got a great music collection behind you. I always like to point out when people do other things other than just sports cards. I think it keeps you well-rounded. We always talk about music and stuff. So, welcome back to the show, Joe. And of course, we got Mike O. Is here tonight with us. How you doing, Mike? How is the 2025 Series 1 working for you?
I'm doing all right. It's certainly a rough break. It feels a little watered down when you're breaking it. But it is the beginning of baseball season. It's a new product, a new year flagship. So I always enjoy it. It's still fun to open. The prices of singles are certainly elevated, but for good reason, because you ain't getting them. That's your chance. You can go open a box. You ain't getting what you want. So,
right. And that seems to be the gripe this year. It's been the gripe the last few years. I talked about it yesterday on it, that it just seems like value goes up, but the value you're getting, the dollars go up and the value you're getting, thank you, Brian, is going down. You're just, I can answer that. Battery wants to know if you hit any gold variations in your 6 boxes of jumbo.
The number to 2025, I got, I think 5 in 6 boxes. So not even one in every box.
Right. So you did get some gold mirror variations?
No. I got 0 gold mirror.
That's
just like the regular golds. No, a total of 9 jumbo boxes so far. 1 from a sealed case. I've gotten 0 golden image variations. I've gotten 0 Independence Day parallels. I've gotten 0 all aces super short prints. I've gotten 0 heavy lumber. So, I've had a few dual patch cards, 1 autographed version. I did get 1 real one autographed, but it's a bum from the Rockies, like there's some huge cards on that checklist, but this was not one of them.
Yeah, so I guess they take away Heritage, so now the real ones are going.
I don't know. I have heard some conflicting things. I saw something about Heritage maybe being announced for 2025 in the next few days. It might be bullshit. I guess we'll find out.
Okay, let's okay. Since you're talking about this type of bullshit, not Joe with his hockey. I know you do more of vintage, but you still want to look at the new stuff that comes out with Upper Deck. But Fanatics is just not being very clear with what they're doing right now. Everybody's clear as mud.
Literally,
no word
have
on
announced
high,
nothing.
Right. They don't announce anything. They don't tell you. Everybody, the collectors out here were looking for the high number, never got it. It's just so Eric says 2025 Heritage will be released. So I guess it's just going to be a one and done for now on, or when they do high number, it's going to be what they feel like.
It's silly that they didn't do high number for the sole purpose of like the fact that you would have had a loaded checklist. I mean, we saw like Update did really well. A lot of those late in the season products, because Skeens, whether he's a smart buy or not, he is by far the most popular from last year. There's a lot of people who are buying Holiday, Churio, these guys who are good position players, but Skeens, I can tell you from dealing with the new products, by far draws the most interest and the most excitement.
And I would like to have a Skeens Gold Cup. That's on my list. So, Battery, what about 2024 Topps Platinum, which has been a huge hit with collectors out here? I don't get it. I mean,
it'd be really nice for them to finally get caught up where everything actually, the final release is actually Bowman's Best in the last week of the year, and we stop having the overlap of years. But I mean, it certainly wouldn't surprise me if it came out again.
Right. I just, when this type of, I've talked about it. I was optimistic because I wanted to be optimistic because we were so down on Topps before Fanatics bought them. We were, how Topps has gotten boring. They won't trying. I think we've heard this, Joe, you're probably the same thing with the hockey. The new stuff looks kind of the same year in and year out. They're not getting, a little bit more, out there with what they did. We're missing some of that 90s fun, early 2000s. And some of it's getting a little boring. If you got to keep going back to old card styles to keep filling out stuff, that tells you right there that we're having some trouble. But I actually do like the card style this year. Yeah, that's true, Eric. I actually like the card style. I think when the Chrome comes out, it's going to look very nice.
I like the 90 inserts, and specifically the 90 silver packs. I think they look pretty sharp.
I like the 90 silver pack, but they've done 90s cards in the past. I mean, archives.
They have, 90s, but not as much as all these other years.
I think the 90s is almost right behind the 87 card, like how much I've seen. But, each to, I mean, 90s, I got so much of that in my own collection. It's like, that's when I was actually making, as a 19, 20-year-old, 18, 19-year-old, making actually decent money. I could buy as many cards as I wanted. I was still living at home. Bought all my rap music and cards. So let's see. We got people bouncing in here. We got Amari. What's up? Of course, Eric, those back pages. James Gilliam. Eric makes a great point. There is no reason for him to get scheduled like people would stop buying schemes and as much.
I just feel like people would buy it regardless. It would just be nice for create a little less confusion so you don't have the 2024 products coming out after 2025. But whatever. They clearly don't have any incentive. I mean, the retail stuff's still flying off the shelves.
Right.
Depending on the area you're in, I'm sure certain areas maybe not. Around me, Do they disappear in the first 5 minutes it goes out? No. But will better stuff disappear within a day? Yes. Like
Right.
it's not, nothing really sits around
This is a great
unless
point.
it's absolute,
Honest Dave, what's up, brother? We still have March 2025 to come out in May, and they will be fine. Dave, he wanted UD was answering game used. Remember those good old days? What's up, fellas? What's up, Dave? The original midlife card crisis. At least all these late releases will make things more tolerable when they lock out the players. That's true. UD will be releasing the 2023-24 Cup in September. I mean, you know, I have been scooping up some 23-24 hockey, and I showed Joe before some of my, Bedards and stuff. People kind of forgot about those products that still have him in it, and they sit on the shelf for a little bit, and I've lucked out on that. Upper Deck has really slipped here. They should be past the issues of COVID by now. I mean, was this 4 years now past, and they're still having backups? Panini, I don't know what Panini's doing with their basketball or football. They should just go away. Because I really was looking forward to WNBA. I know they came out, it looks like they came out with a Prism, but it's college stuff again. And I'm just like, what are they doing? I don't understand. Battery was looking at 95 Tops again, and recently they actually had cards that forecasted what the player would have achieved. And they're not been a strike.
There goes the power.
Your house, you got no power?
I can't see shit right now.
Oh, okay. Well,
so much for getting anything packed. Sorry for anyone involved in the live sale or any of the 40 eBay orders I got today.
Well, the live sale people are usually pretty cool. What's up, Matt? The new collectors don't look at pack odds. You can pick up some tough inserts cheap. We've been saying that for a while. I mean, people want to, and this is another thing with Fanatics. They've stopped doing their .com stuff as much. They took away Throwback Thursday. That was a good way to get stuff that wasn't just out there. We're going to lose Mike here, looks like. We can hear him.
I flipped on the video for about 2 seconds so you could see it was darkness. I was in the darkness that Ed was going to be in if things didn't work right.
University? Are you going to chase Cooper Flag in Bowman University? No. You can just bring my cards when you and Scott come All-Star game. Me and Mike are going to talk and come down here, Battery, I think sometime this year for a game. I would love to, at least. As long as you're giving us some couch space, man, I'm definitely coming. That's cheap. I can just drive down here. That'd be awesome. But, when it comes to buying these cards and wait for them, I mean, you see why people go back and start looking at vintage and backfilling back. Like, I'm having no problem buying cards for players that I like, even modern players, just years past, right? I mean, we're sitting here waiting, and boxes are getting more expensive. They get harder to find. Tops can print flagship to the moon and back, but good luck next week going to a card shop and trying to find a box of it, right? They're probably already sold out on Tops.com, and that's the issue with Series 1. Series 2 hangs around a little bit unless it's something really powerful and update might. But you'll find some retail stuff maybe, but the actual hobby stuff just disappears. And unless you're and the majority of it will go to you will always already go, to the breakers. Most of it goes to the breakers. Sorry, I got off top. So yeah, there's a lot of the new people. If it's not numbered, they don't understand. the inserts. It's windy here too. Hell, they don't even put. Yeah, the odds are back to that already. Yeah, Sport Lots already has 2025 S1 loaded. Baggy, that's fine with me, man. It might be 10 years before I start picking up 2025. I'm still working on the 90s. Yeah. Hey, Gary, man, great. Thanks to everybody for the words yesterday on my Saturday chat, and we'll probably get into that here in a minute. But I just wanted to talk a little bit 2025 because our group chat has been blowing up. I've been seeing a lot in chatter across the all the socials, and I said it yesterday. I heard the term "what's the chase" in Series 1, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because yes, you've been hearing that term more and more, but that was the first time I think I heard it directly in the term of what's the chase in Series 1. It used to be, I'm just buying ball cards for the sake of buying ball cards. But now we're buying for a certain card, one of ones, which is fine, to each his own. But when I heard that, it was just like, oh, okay, we are actually using the chase term, something that we used in repacks or things like that. What is the chase? And I guess that's kind of the way Fanatics is using that. That's what Fanatics wants, is the people to go out, spend blindly for the golden ticket, Willy Wonka's golden ticket. And that's what it sounds like. Yeah, Amari Barry Bonds has been out in public more often lately. I think he's when he gets on the list for what the seniors or whatever, I think he's kind of wants to be voted in. Thanks. I saw your comment. Sorry I didn't reply. I'm going to do a video on the rest. Yeah, and I just want to say I've really been enjoying collectors stuff on more and more, and I don't want to start this right now. There is no rivalry between anybody. I heard that term. I don't like that term. It makes it worse. There is no us versus them. These people, if it is, it's in your head. We're all collectors, every one of us. Look at Joe behind with all that music. Mike, he has his if you don't, Mike loves Ghostbusters. He likes stuff from that era. He's that type of guy. He also collects baseball cards. I like my video games. I like my Star Wars video cards. That's all we are, man. As nerds, enjoy collecting stuff, right? And it's awesome. And we share in that passion. And that rivalry thing, there is no rivalry. If it is, it's in your head. Does either one of y'all think there's a rivalry out there?
I mean, maybe among people who make videos, who most cases probably aren't actually collectors. That might be about it. Not in person.
It's just funny because we all go to a show and everybody hangs out and kumbayas.
The only time you really hear it is when it's like the talking heads who are, whether they mean to or not, they're kind of basically telling. There's people who collect because they love sports, they love the players, they love the teams, they love the hobby, and there's people who think they collect and maybe they are collecting their own way, but in reality they're investing, and that's all they're worried about are the dollar signs, and that's why they'll just want that certain stuff. It's like, of course, if all you want to do is maximize your dollar bill or safely spend your dollar bill so that you can take that item and at the very least get back that dollar bill, of course buying Mickey Mantle is a safer play than buying whoever, Juan Soto. because Mickey Mantle's legacy is come and done. Juan Soto could be a Hall of Famer. He's certainly on that trajectory. Or he could eat himself out of the league in 3 years. Or he could, I
This
don't
is the
know,
point I'm
have
going
a
to get
problem
to.
have
here
a
in a minute.
problem in something because his career is still young. Not to say any of that's likely to happen.
Right.
Same thing with any modern player. Like, if you're basing it on that, of course, but that's not why a lot of people collect.
Joe, do you have any thoughts on this? Or I like to throw you in this
Yeah.
Viper pit too. Let's go.
I don't know. I think
Amish Dave is watching. You better represent
rivalry.
IRP.
But wouldn't rivalry mean that they acknowledge each other? Like, I just don't think the people that have that strong of a view on the other side, that they don't acknowledge that other side. So I don't really think there is a rivalry. Or I don't think rivalry is the best term to use to define that, like, division. If there is one.
Right. And when what they put here, collectors versus non-collectors, like acting like collectors. That is a huge thing to what's going on, because some of the people that think there's a rivalry, the first thing they're going to start doing is bringing up this value thing. And us people have been doing this for a long time, collecting, especially in the YouTube space, collectors. We'll talk about value or whatever, especially if it's something big going on. Yeah, I got you. But my thought is like in the same one that me and Eric are talking about, he talks a lot about value in the vintage market and what cards are selling, what cards aren't, what's falling and what's dropping. And I mean, if you want to create a rivalry, I don't think it's between vintage and modern. I think it's more between collectors and flippers. It don't matter what you're flipping. But I don't think flipping is a bad term. I love them too, because that's how I get cards. And when they get a graded and they get an 8 or a 9, I'm buying it at a cheap price where they're trying to get rid of it, or their last one holding a hot potato, and hopefully it doesn't go in a closet and they're ready to sell it at a reasonable price. Because now it's a waiting game. We got to wait for the collectors or the flippers to stop selling to each other to get to a collector at the end of the day. And that's what we've started this in 2019, and it's gone now for 6 years. We should be used to this by now. And, now I'm talking about this and people are leaving, but, I could see the count. And I don't want to harp on this. I don't. But the same people keep bringing this up, and it seems like to them it's an issue. To me, it's not an issue. Collect what you want to collect. I want to see the vintage. I want to see non-sport. I want to see non-sport vintage. I want to see I can't buy everything. So what do? I watch other people to see what's in their collections, because I can't afford to buy everything. I buy what I buy, and that's it. But I'll sit there, and I love looking at old Phillies cards because they're dead. A dead Philly's a good Philly, Mike.
Asshole.
But I mean, that's just how it is. And I talked about it, the history. What's up, Mangini? The history of the Mets don't go far enough back where I can't really enjoy the history in a pre-war, in that far back. So I like to have representation though in those categories. So what did I do? I love catchers. Catchers always have been my thing. And more and more I've learned. I've always been a Campanella fan. I've always been a Bench fan. I've always been a Fisk fan. Yogi Berra. How do you not like Yogi Berra? So that's where I get those cards. And then I start learning about some players that I might not have learned. And that's where I found some other people that I've really liked for the pre-war. And when you go and see the damn equipment that they wore. It's so much respect. Does anyone else think Big Scott's microphone looks like the Death Star? Yeah. I like it. And, you know, I feel like there shouldn't be a rivalry. It shouldn't be a jealousy. It should be a love for the hobby and whatever you collect and having that passion. I mean, you know, I watched this video and showing a Henry Winkler autograph Fonzie card was awesome. And, you know, and he had enthusiasm. I think he has enthusiasm for what he does. I don't like the rivalry part. And, you know, I think, like Eric said, maybe bringing up things over and over again. And I really think in that group, we've won over some people into thinking, wait a minute, is there such thing as like just a vintage collector or just a modern collector? I don't think there is. If you like a card, you're going to get it. Will you not buy an older card because you collect modern? And what ignorance is that? What? I don't buy a newer card. I like a player. I bought it WNBA. I never liked WNBA before. So, you know. Oh, Mangini, happy birthday. I did not know it was your birthday. Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday, Mangini.
You
know what Mangini probably likes to do on his birthday? I bet Mangini likes to look at baseball cards.
There you go. There you go. I do, and I have passion for this and for this YouTube thing, and that's why I get so antsy and I get a little defensive, and I mean, you're seeing my passion right now. I think everybody that collects, we are in a brother sisterhood in cards, right? It's especially us that were in it before it was cool, right? A lot of us were in our basements, in our spare bedrooms, in our little corners of this YouTube world, going to small shows, being laughed at by the cool girls walking down the hall, going into whatever store they were going to while we're going to look at baseball cards in the middle of the mall. You know, I would just say, you know, remember those days, and we were all a collective group then, but now it's almost become cool, you know. Oh, you collect baseball. Everybody thinks we're sitting on $1 million. I got that yesterday at work. You know, it's just, you know, you're like, no, I'm not, like, you know, it's just for fun. You know, I've already had a thought of some people that I really want to have on here on my road to the national. So different people. I want to reach out to somebody. I'm hoping this person will be on here because I think she is just a great person for the hobby. Because man, I go to shows now, and it's not just a mom taking her kids. It's the mom involved with the kids or having her own PC. Behind the table, it's not just old white guys. It's a whole family selling. Or the little kid is selling with just the parents behind them. It's a different world than what it was even 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? Do y'all feel the same way when it comes to this right now? And when we start doing this rivalry thing and all this stuff, we're putting ourselves in these categories that don't need to be there. I mean, does anybody have any thoughts on that?
I collect both, so, and I don't really focus on what other people are doing like that. So it doesn't really affect me. It doesn't really bother me personally. And
I wish that's great. And what affects me is when I hear it on here, because I'm seeing shows now. When you go to a show, I like to watch. That's what I talk about a lot. I go to a show, I take $200, might not spend it, but I people watch. I talk. I like to talk. Y'all haven't noticed. And I mean, especially when me and Natsman would go. Natsman is the best. he is an artist when it comes to cold talking. I mean, he knows how to get information for people. And I've learned from him. And, I try to do the same thing. And that's exactly right, man, Jeannie. That's where I wanted to go with this too eventually. Because we want to sit here and what John has put over here, modern can be a gateway drug to vintage for many. We want the kids involved, and the new stuff is what gets them involved. Having all the shiny, the 55 versions of the same card. I enjoy collecting that. It can be fun. It can be pricey.
It's not even necessarily just like, yes, people like the modern look of cards because that's their era, but it is the current day players.
Right.
Like
exactly.
we see it all the time. You like Gary Carter because you grew up watching Gary Carter, and some people like Mickey Mantle because they grew up watching Mickey Mantle or following him, listening to him. And then that's why you have people today who, are growing up watching Patrick Mahomes or growing up watching whoever, Juan Soto, Acuna, Shohei Ohtani. Like I've seen it with like my nephew. Like he's a Phillies fan and he loves JT Realmuto, but he also is fascinated and loves Shohei Ohtani. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. And, everyone's going to have – you're going to have the superstars, and Shohei Ohtani is among the biggest superstars of all time in baseball history. I mean, worldwide, he's right there. And then you're going to have the local heroes, and that's what's going to really get people into both the sports and collecting in general. So, I mean,
my whole thing with baseball,
era's always going to matter, to a degree.
Right. And when Shohei is breaking records or Real Muto or anybody, when they put that list up of names of the past of where these players are at on these lists, these young people see those lists and they want to know who those other people are. Right? Why? Okay. How is, wow, they're comparing Shohei Ohtani to Babe Ruth. That gets them into that era. Right? I mean, right now we got Alex Ovechkin. I'm going to keep bringing up hockey because I got Joe. And I love it because I get to talk a little hockey. We got Alex Ovechkin chasing Gretzky. Well, we have an age group now of hockey fans that never saw Gretzky play. Right? Or then it goes to Orr or some of these other people, Brett Hall, some of these other great scorers of the past, that their name comes out and they want to know who they are. And I want to get to Mangini. Mangini had a video on Johnny Unitas the other day. Beautiful card. I love looking at vintage football cards to start with. Brad talked about it the last time he was on here. And the fear of these young people not knowing who Johnny U is, I don't agree with that 100%, but there is something to that in football because the game has changed so much. But Johnny U is still on a lot of leaderboards. So when somebody sees that list, they're going to see Johnny U, and one of them is Super Bowls or championship games.
I think football's definitely got an issue, more so than any other sport. Baseball, you hear about everything. Basketball, you hear. I mean, at least it goes back to the Jordan era, of course. He's always brought up baseball is probably the best of the sports in terms of getting respect from all the eras. Football is kind of ridiculous. It's like that in the hobby and in real life. Like, we get it with the Mahomes bullshit. Like, is he the GOAT? No, he's not the GOAT. Like, could he be? Is he on a track? Sure. But, like, that's a conversation for, like, 10, 15 years down the road. And people, of course, were talking about it a couple weeks ago. And now that's, like, the new topic. And it's always the newest guy. Like, any player who played 5-10 years ago is forgotten. Like, football is – the history of football is very disrespected because the stats are meaningless. Like, the stats are eye-opening, but they're meaningless.
So I heard
if you look at it, the top 20 quarterback ratings of all time all played in the last 10 years. Like, Matt Schaub's probably like a top 20 quarterback of all time statistically, and we all know he wasn't.
He wasn't? Wait a minute. Wait. But he played at UVA.
Yeah, well.
But here's my thing too. When it comes to quarterbacks, I couldn't do that unless one of them was Deacon Jones or somebody like that. But the and you're exactly right, John, that football stats and all that, because when you start talking about it, this is the phrase I heard about Mahomes. He can't be put in the GOAT level that he was before because he lost this last one. Wait, what? Like
He's still only 7 or 8 years into his career, and it's been
It didn't
obviously an
make any
unbelievable
sense to
start.
me. It brings Montana back in the conversation. Wait a minute. When did Montana leave the conversation? Right? And I'm starting to bring up guys that never won Super Bowls that had records. Like, Dan Marino and these other guys. So are we just talking about champion? Because NFL, it takes a team. We all know that. And the quarterback just kind of rides the back of the team. Brady has been the best quarterback to work with them, do the most with the less that I have seen. I can't speak, like my dad. Like I said, my dad was, last time I was home, he was watching the 1953 championship game. So it's
I
just,
love watching some of his old games.
I told him, I go, you and Mike would fit in together. Yeah. And I mean, I haven't had interest in football. And to me, football now, this is where I understand vintage collectors in baseball, because the NFL to me has changed so much in my adulthood that I am not watching the same game I grew up with. And I don't think it's bad. I'll still watch the games. I don't sit there and turn them off. But, I do have the wussy words and all that, where guys, when I was a kid, play with broken legs or leave the game with a broken arm and come back in the second half with a cast on it. You won't see that these days. You got players that go out, they have a broken pinky and they won't play. Yeah, Fran Tarkenton was a beast. I mean, that's the who Dan Marino broke his records. And I just feel like those football players do not get the credit in the hobby, the real world, anywhere. Football, to me, I stopped collecting football about 10 years ago because of that. I've talked about it before. There's more than just quarterbacks on the field, but I felt like that's all you got in boxes. Quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. I like the fat guys because I am a fat guy. So we all want to kind of collect people that remind us of us a little bit, in some form. Yeah, that's incredible. Football to me, I thought that would be lying in the gutter, but maybe, hopefully, Fanatics can put life back into it. But back to baseball. Back to vintage versus modern. I'm gonna talk it to death, and hopefully we can put it 6 feet under tonight. To me, I think most people collect I said it yesterday. 99% of people collect a little bit of everything. Not everybody concentrates. I don't think there's this huge concentration of one or the other. And I think that is the crux of it all. Mike says it all the time that people that watch YouTube is such a small outlier to people that collect cards. When you go to national, most of those people don't know YouTube, that there's even a community on YouTube. And if they do, they might know only one or two of the biggest people. They might know Jeff Wilson. They might know Ryan, card collector too. Or somebody else that's in that realm, not us. They're watching YouTube. The young people, they're seeing Mr. Beast or something like that, Kai or somebody else that's got millions of followers. people that are now mainstream that are at the NFL and NBA celebrity games, and you're probably going, who the hell are these people? But that's who they are, and you're not going to see any of us in the celebrity basketball game because we're not going to be there. We're not celebritized, even if 6,000 followers. That's a drop in a bucket. That's 6,000 is one 30 minutes of viewership for a lot of those people. But I'm gonna put a nail in it there. I feel like I'm just talking in circles now. I feel like the kids will be all right. Just don't turn them away by not helping them if they come to your table and you're at a show, and just discourage them. Try to point them in the right direction. If you don't do modern or have what they are looking for, point them in. If you know who better, or sorry, I can't help you, would you like to look at anything I have here? Just don't say I don't want any of that shit or whatever, because I've seen that. And when it comes to everybody else, I have fun at the shows. I look at everything, and it gives me ideas for later shows. Anybody want to talk anything else about this BS about verses and rivalries before we go on?
I'm good.
I thought we would be.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
People are gonna bring stuff up from,
and somebody will bring it up
time.
next week, and I won't. I'm done with it. I thought I was done with it months ago. Whatever. But it is what it is, and that's it. We can all have fun. I had people that do mostly vintage to mostly modern to everything in between. That talked on my video yesterday, and I'm going to try to, you're not done with it, and and that's it. I felt good about it. Yeah, John, that Tops Now. If you love the history of the game, Tops Now is the history now. What happened what happened in sports yesterday is like I said, if you love the history of the game and you did not watch the World Series and understand that was history in the making, that nobody has done what Freddie Freeman has done, I don't know what to do for you. I mean, that was amazing. What Freddie Freeman did on one leg in the World Series. It was awesome. The rivalry is kind of fun. All I see are 75% of guys who will leave to the next flip, 25% of guys who will convert to collectors. Just got to give them some time.
Son of a bitch.
Your power back on? So
it is not on, but security system's doing something crazy. So I'm going to mute it so I can check it out.
Okay. Don't try and be a voice for the hobby. Be a voice in the hobby. There you go, Gary. Gary's got some great stuff, man. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I used to play video games with this guy. I still do. He's one of my best friends in Iowa. And every time we get on, he would have one of his fire alarms beeping. And you would tell him, and he'd be like, I don't hear it. It's the most annoying thing ever. You try to play it, all you hear in your headphones is a beep. And you're like, dude, I can't hear the game. Oh, shit. But anyway, man, life is good. Hobby's good. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I just wanted to touch on this again this weekend, because I thought John, Wade Boggs fan, did an excellent job on his knowledge, talking about it and how it works. And yes, there's sometimes people use language against each other. Who cares? At the end of the day, whatever. But hey, Eric, have you got a place yet at the National? I kind of brought that up yesterday too. 6 weeks ago, heard a lot of noise about people couldn't find places to stay at the National, and I guess they have because I haven't heard anything else. Also, too, I am interested to see how many people are deciding to go to other things. I know people rather go to or are choosing to go to like Strongsville. I wonder if people are choosing to go to the Fanatic show, which is a week before. In this area, there's some bigger shows. The week of the National is a GalaxyCon here in Raleigh, which I would love to go to, but it's the same week as the National, so I'm going to probably go to one in the up in Richmond next year. When is the National? I guess I could look it up. It is actually I got it right here on my ticket.
End of July, right?
Yeah, I think it's more in August this year. Wednesday, July 30th.
Dave's got it right away.
Huh?
No, Dave posted it.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Dave had it blocked out.
Yeah,
he's counting out in the days.
Wow, I am sick. Just had a super rare card stolen at UPS in California because I had to travel across country for a damn eBay authentication. I'm sick over it. May never find another one. Oh, that sucks, John. I have not. I talked about it yesterday too. I've had issues with eBay shipping. People not shipping their shit on eBay.
Yeah, well, I apologize if you bought from me because when the power goes out,
I bought something in like either December or early January, and they just got a ship this past week. And I had to send them a message, and I never got anything back. I had a big card in Cali 2 years ago stolen. Son of a bitch. Ain't that something? Jeez. Nope, but I've had a card damage en route to PSA that they wouldn't authenticate because the slab got cracked. Holy cow. That's all we need to hear is this things about authentication, negative reviews on the Micro Car Shop. Yeah. Yeah. It takes too long to hurry up and ship that shit. I just keep it. He's got a vault. I just ask him nicely to when I'm gonna pile send it to me. It's almost like
I was on the cusp of powering through like at least 30 orders tonight, but now that's come to a screeching halt. So maybe as soon as this is over, I'll just go to bed and get up at 3-4 in the morning and work for a couple hours. We'll see.
There you go. So has anybody else got anything in this great hobby of ours or life in general?
Oh, can I just say one thing that's not related to anything we talked about, though it is somewhat related
no, it could
to
be,
hobbies.
Yep.
You know what drives me nuts a little bit now? I was thinking about it earlier today.
Yeah.
Obviously, we always judge the old players on their stats and all that. But with the modern, I do think a lot of modern players actually get disrespected by some people because they try and compare them to all the guys of the past and all the amazing stats. I love when I'm listening to people talk about guys who are candidates for the Hall of Fame. And I think specifically about Todd Helton. People will be like, I watched Todd Helton's entire career. And I'm like, really? Did you? Because something tells me you watched less than 20 games of Todd Helton's career. Unless you're a Rockies fan or maybe you're a fan of the team in the division. But if you're, I don't know, a Red Sox fan, how many – all right, Red Sox are a bad example. At least you saw them 4 games in the World Series when they kicked their ass.
Or you're a Rangers fan and it's totally different.
Like, how much did you actually watch Todd Helton? Like, I saw a lot of Todd Helton because, I mean – not everyone's a sicko like me watching outrageous amounts of baseball, literally checking in at least on every game every night. and then
Right.
watching it professionally at a period of time, things like that. I don't know, just a random thought, because I'll always hear people say that. Like, I watched this guy's entire career. I'm like, I think you're full of shit. I don't think you did.
Right. Right.
I
Yeah,
think you saw a couple highlights on SportsCenter and saw a few cards over the years.
right. And your thought process is, oh, he's not the big player, but he's got quietly made the numbers. You know that.
I'm not even a big
And
Todd Helton guy. It just stands out because he's a Rocky. Like, the Rockies are one of those teams that, they at least have, 100,000 fans in Colorado. I know we were talking about the Marlins before. Like, did the Miami Marlins have more than 14 real fans?
Jim Palmer in his underpants. Yeah, to me, I agree. Me and you've had this discussion. And one time was at the Hall of Fame. And but that's the way the hobby is. We have hobby darlings, and we have people that doesn't make sense that people love at early on in their careers. And that's one thing I do agree with people that want to make this vintage comparison. As I've said it all along, it kind of started rubbing me the wrong way with Vlad Guerrero Jr. I mean, hasn't done anything, and his card was like $5,000 for RPA, and I was just like, how what? It's like this doesn't make sense to me.
Prospecting is definitely something I know
don't.
people are into it, and it's cool. Like, it's cool that some people, again, there's people who really follow it, and like, they actually watch college games and they watch all the scouting stuff and they keep up and they watch the minor league games. And there's other people who just read a few blurbs, in a magazine and then think they know everything. But prospecting doesn't interest me in the hobby really at all.
Yeah. I would have the morning paper in the study hall on a stick, getting the sports page out. I ran fantasy baseball before it was called fantasy baseball. Was it rotisserie or whatever? And I did the points every day. I had to do them by hand before. I back then, but I also had games back then that did the same thing basically, but had them on cards already there. Man, I had the Statomatic and stuff like that. They were the good old days. Talking baseball. I had that one of those games. Man, if you know, you know. That was the good old days. Man, I remember you had to look at the morning paper for the regular games, and the West Coast games would be in the afternoon paper. So, yeah, that was my life early on. Frank Thomas should be in the Hall of Average. It's a real quote from someone's content on here. Literal brain rot, yeah. I remember picking up 1998 Bowman Chrome Gabe Kapler rookie when it was $150. That cured me for prospecting. Yeah, that would. I mean,
great manager, of course, in Philadelphia. Oof.
But I mean, come on, really? Back then, we just bought packs, and then you trade it with your friends or something. I didn't really. I didn't buy a lot of singles at my card shop unless it was older stuff, like my first Brooks Robinson or Jim Palmer, rookies, and they were beat to shit, but I could afford them, and I just thought they were the coolest things ever. I didn't care. I have them graded now in my collection. That's just, I just wanted them protected better than just a top loader and a book. Speaking of top loaders and books, Dave, if anybody gets a chance, Dave has a pretty cool video about top loader books. I've heard of them before, never seen them. Pretty cool video if you get a chance to see it. That's Midlife Card Crisis. Dave's Midlife Card Crisis. Really cool video. I thought that was unique. Last week I hit a 10-cent bin and it had Mike Williams, USC Panthers wide receiver gold medallion with a $42 sticker on it. 10-cent bin. Bought it for a laugh alone. Did we prospect Don Madden in 84, Bo Jackson, Barry Bonds in 87? Yeah, but you didn't really have to prospect. You just had to buy the packs. You would eventually hit one of them. And then if you really wanted them, me and my friends are going on a box. But now that's all changed, right? Because now we don't look at the regular cards as their rookies anymore. If they have a traded set, then that's the rookie. In 89, I wore Ripley's comic and baseball card shop t-shirt to the store. They would give me a free pack of Tops each day. I bought a t-shirt and a set. Nice. Oh, you buy? How much are those? I think you put them in that. I love the concept. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's for me, but I love that concept, and I loved how it made the cards look. I'm not a big top loader fan to begin with. If I think it needs to be in a top loader, I usually put it in a one touch. Eventually, I don't keep a lot of my cards in top loaders. I know that's blasphemy. I mean, I have them in top loaders until I can get them in one touches. Okay, $25, $35. Okay. And again, if you want to see something I feel unique or pretty cool, that's really I like watching how people do their cards. Hitman has his video. He'll keep showing you stuff in his room that he's doing. And again, I'm shouting out my buddies here. What's up, Don? Mike Fabian also has a video showing how he's storing his cards. I just find that pretty cool. And it gives you ideas. Like, if you got a shit ton of cards, like most of us have, and you need space, I look for space efficiency. We had the BCW guy, sales rep. What's up, Chris? Show us stuff at the show. You remember that, Mike?
I do.
That new plastic, like top hole for top. They were about to come out with graded cards, but they only had it for one touch and top loaders when we were there. Great for team sets. I got you. Bink Scott Nolan has autographed the cards since 2020, the initial cards now. That's funny. Yeah, so, I've been really, like I said, back to really digging collectors content right now. Thought Joe was Bob Lewis with a shave. That's hilarious. No, because we'd be just having chair in the comments right now. But I've been really loving the collectors content. Just Hitman showing regular cards. I don't care about the high dollar cards. I care about the passion. I do like to see the high dollar cards too. But I want you to get them for the right reason, not for clickbait. I want you to get them because it's what you want, not what you need to get views and stuff like that, and think you're going to get clout, and then all you're going to do is turn around to sell it in 2 weeks. That's fine. If that's what you want to do and say it was in your collection, I'm not telling you what to do, but that's what I'm looking for. And I can't speak for everyone else. And I just wanted to end it on that tonight because I am a tired boy. It's been a long weekend, long day. Yeah, Eric in his cloud. Tell him what to do, Scott. No, that's not my job, Eric. That is definitely not my job. My job is to get things off of my chest, and if you love to hear it, and to share my love for this hobby and other hobbies.
And the
And
Montreal Expos.
Montreal Expos, bring baseball back to Montreal. That's my saying. And I want to thank Joe for hanging out with us tonight. Maybe he'll be in a friend's house again this year. Who knows? Thank you, Mike, for showing up here tonight and giving
You
your
enjoying
rant.
that live video?
Oh, I like you in the dark. There you go. And I want to thank everybody that came. And I know this was a weird video tonight, yesterday. I'll get back to better content this week. I already have a couple of cards in. I'm looking for a couple more. Like I said, I got some stuff in that I've been waiting for months. WNBA cards. I wish Panini would do better with the W. We're about to start the next season here soon. We're going to be getting to March Madness really, really fast. So loving that. And I think that's all I got in here. Not much. Just not buying a lot right now. Mike in the Darkness Canuck. Bob Lewis. That's right. Nothing has hanged any business as usual. So all of you folks who kept saying for years, like Alico 3, the standards have changed for PSA grading vindicated. Now that PSA has confirmed the standards have changed. Well, they had to change it because I feel like SGC started it with them having to be better. And then I think CSG has come along with their toughness, even though they're not the pretty boys on the block that everybody wants to buy. I think they have proven that PSA, especially with centering, sucked. And I mean, now PSA just has to get better at turnaround time and pricing. And it seems like they're damaging cards by accident. And I have again CSG. Another order that's over 35 days out, and it's still scheduled for grading. If you know CSG, that means it could be graded already and shipped to me by now. They just haven't changed it in there on the screen yet. So, anyway, I love CSG. I think they do a great job. They're not very good at telling you where your cards are at in their CGC. I'm sorry, I keep seeing CSG. CGC.
Come on, Eric. Come on, Scott.
If I want to shill for them, at least get it right. I think they have the best plastic out there. So buy centered cards and you will be just fine. PSA is just a third party opinion. Use your eyes, people. Yep. CSG, CGC, 2. So, one, but, I use SGC for cards I want to sell because they're second in the market and I just will not use PSA.
You flipping son of a bitch, you.
They need to start doing. They need to start doing better. PSA just needs to start doing better. So that's all I got tonight. I hope everybody's doing well. Be safe out there. I know winter weather is on its way, hitting some people as we speak. And, just be safe out there. And we will see you again. I will hopefully Wednesday we'll have a show, have something. Me and my dad did not record today because I was at work all day. So we'll have one tomorrow. Talking about some moves in baseball and the start of spring training. So until next time, see ya.
Peace.
Mhm.